identified the driver who allegedly struck and killed a boy while he was riding his bike. Kristen Drew is live in the newsroom with the late-breaking details. Now, Kristen?
John, an LMPD spokesman says charges against driver Angela Baumia are pending while detectives wait for lab results. Police say Baumia was driving a Ford Escort when she hit 11-year-old Dylan Getchy. It happened Saturday night in the 4300 block of Shenandoah Drive in Fincastle, just east of the Snyder Freeway. The boy was taken to Kosera Children's Hospital, where he died the following day. Police say Getchy was riding his bike with two other boys in the middle of the street. The driver tried to avoid the boys, but that's when she struck Getchy, then struck two parked vehicles in a driveway. Police say alcohol was a factor, but have not yet determined the appropriate charges.
There are times we have to look at several factors at this stage. We are, at this point, just because alcohol was involved, we don't know to what degree, and that's how come we do the drug test and know more definitively on what level that is. What level that it is ultimately determines what she could be charged with us.
Police say Angela Baumia was visiting family that live in the area where the crash happened. At this point, it's unclear if speed is also a factor. LMPD's traffic unit is investigating. I'm Kristen Drew, WLKY News.
Investigating the case had a right to know that information in the days they were investigating.
That's when we started setting up the party. Everybody didn't show up so late.
Remember what the decorations were?
Just happy birthday decorations, setting up the place, putting up balloons and things like that.
So you were there with this case?
My children were spending the weekend with their friends.
And where was that?
Out toward my apartment.
So you were stating you went to a party out of the children on Saturday afternoon in the summer, but you didn't drink the first 4 or 5 hours you waited. You didn't have a sip of alcohol from 1:30 to 5. You go there in your own car?
Yes, I did.
You used your keys
No, I did not.
Have you ever read that label?
Not that I can.
You drink it out of a cup or out of a bottle?
Out of the bottle.
And was it kept on ice?
Yes.
KTLY News.
I didn't understand what I did. I went on, going on toward the next stop sign. He was still cussing at me. So I pointed my finger at him. I was tired of the way that he was treating me. He grabbed my hand, hit my face.
This would have been near the stop sign.
This is like right when I was riding up onto the stop sign. Yeah. As I came to the stop sign, I came to a slow, but not a stop. And then when I was telling him that when we got home, I went to get his things and his belongings out of my house. And when I said that, that's when I noticed the young man on my side of the bike. So I curved to go around him. And then when Cedric started pushing on me again and started slapping at me, something out of the left side of my eye. That time I didn't see him. By the time I did see him, it was too late. He just shot out in front of me. I panicked, meant to hit the brake. And that's how I spun out. After, I don't remember climbing out of the car. I had my face, my nose, bleeding so bad, blood everywhere. I hurt my shoulders, my knee, my chin was busted.
Head.
I don't remember being in the car. Accident. I don't remember climbing out. I remember remember sitting in the grass talking to the paramedics. And
Standing with the.
sitting in the grass, and paramedics was about to place. And I remember my dad standing on my right side. I don't remember seeing him walk up. None of that.
You had a bloody nose and your chin was.
No, I have not. Before I got out of jail, he came to visit me, that I was going to talk to my lawyers and let them know about him hitting me. I've seen him since.
Hospital. Zach, you are afraid of. Do you remember asking that?
I loved him.
At the hospital.
I believe they put me on a board, put the neck brace on me, put some gauze on my chin so the neck brace wasn't too well. Put me in the ambulance. I don't remember much of the ride in the ambulance.
More emotional testimony in the trial of a woman accused of killing a child while driving drunk.
Angela Baumia is facing murder charges for the death of 11-year-old Dylan Getty. Hearing will be headed to court all day to find out witnesses more on what happened today.
I mean, it was so gut-wrenching that I got up out of my lawn chair.
Robin told the court he ran to see from 11-year-old Dylan Getty like this. Police say 11-year-old Dylan was riding his bike when he hit the Baumia The man who served on the jury that convicted Angela Baumia of murder says when deliberations began, he was not convinced she was guilty.
When I walked back there that day, I could have sat here and said, I'm not going to convict this lady of murder.
But David Fouts says after 4 hours of deliberations on Monday, he was convinced that Baumia was guilty of murder. Baumia was driving drunk when she ran over 11-year-old Dylan Getchie while he was riding his bike. It happened last June. She took the stand during her trial. Fouts says that testimony hurt her case and that she basically convicted herself. He also says it wasn't just one factor that led to the jury to convict her on the murder charge.
What led to the murder was the multiple decisions that she made that night that created an extreme indifference to human life.
And according to Kentucky law, that is all that's needed for a murder conviction. Showing intent is not necessary.
She didn't wake up that morning and say, well, I'm going to intentionally go kill a young boy on a bicycle tonight.
In Kentucky, murder can also be a verdict when there's wanton indifference to the value of human life. And apparently that's what the jury found in this case.
Thomas Clay has tried several DUI murder cases and says the vast majority don't end in murder convictions. Most end in plea deals. Kenneth Yates, Brenton Smith, and Emily Hall all faced murder charges in separate local DUI cases in the last few years. All pled guilty to manslaughter. There are exceptions, such as Raymond Garner, who was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison in 2008 after a DUI crash that killed a pregnant woman and an 8-year-old boy. Baumia's case and her 35-year prison sentence is now also one of those exceptions. The question is, why?
There were factors in the case that must have upset the jury, because a 35-year sentence for this kind of case is pretty harsh.
Thomas Clay points to Baumia's blood alcohol level, which was more than 3 times the legal limit, as one of the main reasons that the jury settled on that murder
Drive in the Fincastle neighborhood. Police say her blood alcohol level was over .14. In court today, several witnesses testified that Baumia may have been speeding, and they believe she was arguing with her boyfriend, who was also in the car.
She got out the car. She was just sitting at the car, looking at the car. The man she was with was on the phone calling somebody.
Now, besides Dylan's mom, who you heard from a witness there, several teenagers testified about what they saw, that Baumia was speeding in the neighborhood, driving recklessly, and arguing with her boyfriend. Now, the boyfriend and Baumia herself are expected to testify. I'm Denise Saunders reporting live outside the Judicial Center, WLKY News.
Angela Baumia is now on home incarceration as her trial is set to begin. WLKY's Ann Bowden is live in the newsroom with the latest on the ongoing case. Ann?
Well, Rick, Angela Baumia's father posted a $10,000 bond after a judge agreed to reduce it from a $100,000 full cash bond to 10% of that. While that allowed her to return home to her two children, today she sat in court preparing to be tried for taking the life of someone else's child. No longer in an orange jumpsuit, Angela Baumia sat in court with her defense team as they prepared for trial. Her attorney spent much of the day filing several motions, including getting her prior convictions and DUI arrests thrown out for trial. The judge denied that motion. The defense also made a motion to exclude autopsy photos of the victim and information about the donation of his organs. But the Commonwealth protested.
Typically in homicide cases, the victim is not here to testify, and I think some degree of gratitude is allowed.
On June 26th of last year, police say Baumia hit and ran over 11-year-old Dylan Getchy while driving drunk. He was riding his bike on Shenandoah Drive in eastern Jefferson County. In court, her defense team also tried to get stricken from the record the profanity she used when officers tried to question her at the hospital just hours after that accident.
Exclude Ms. Baumier's profanity at the hospital and any other profanity as being a violation of 404, and that it only goes to show her character rather than relevance to this case.
After about an hour of motions, a jury pool of 50 men and women were questioned in preparation for trial. Some of the witnesses expected to come before that jury include police, Dylan Getchy's parents, residents in the area where the accident occurred, and the passenger in the car with Baumia, a man by the name of Cedric Thompson. Now, opening arguments are set to begin tomorrow, and the trial is expected to last about a week. Besides murder, the charges Baumia faces include operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, wanton endangerment, criminal mischief, and failure to maintain a required insurance. Live in the newsroom, Ann Bowden, WLKY News.
obviously don't drink and drive. Choices.
11-year-old Dylan Getchy's father, mother, older brother, and other family members came out of the courtroom relieved after the sentencing, but it was another emotional day of testimony. After a slight delay to work out an agreement on the penalty for Angela Baumier's DUI conviction, witness testimony quickly focused on the penalty for her murder conviction, with Dylan Getchy's mangled bike taking center stage. So did Dylan's father.
He was full of life, bundle of joy.
With Dylan's surviving family filling half the courtroom, his father addressed the jury to tell them how Dylan's death at the hands of Angela Baumier has affected every one of his family members.
My 9-year-old daughter. That lost her best friend and confidant. And right across from her room, across the hallway, his room. Go exactly the way it was on June 22nd.
The prosecution also brought up Baumier's criminal record that included a past DUI charge she pled guilty to in 2002.
After the DUI, I took some classes and cleaned up my act. Stayed good and clean, sober for a good 2 to 3 years.
But then she testified her husband left her and her mother died. That started her drinking again. But the jury made a strong statement.
We, the jury, fixed the punishment of the defendant, Angela Baumier, for the offense of murder and confinement in the penitentiary for 35 years.
Now, Rick and Vicky, that 35-year sentence makes Angela Baumier eligible for parole in about 20 years. Her eldest son, who is 12-year-old now, he will be her current age by the time she is eligible for parole. Of course, we did talk to the defense attorneys, and they are considering an appeal. Reporting live outside the Judicial Center, Ann Bowden, WLKY News.
After being convicted of murder by a jury of 7 men and 7 women, Angela Baumier asks for a plea deal as they consider how long they say she'll be behind bars. Ann Bowden joins us now live from the Judicial Center.
Well, Monica, witness testimony for the sentencing phase of this trial was scheduled to begin at 10 o'clock this morning. But at 10:20, Judge Brian Edwards closed the entire courtroom to everyone. He said attorneys on both sides wanted to talk about a possible plea deal. We all waited for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then Judge Edwards reopened the courtroom, and the only deal that was made concerned the conviction against Angela Baumier for operating a motor vehicle while driving intoxicated or while under the influence. They gave her 4 days to serve, and then they gave her time credited for those 4 days. That was the only deal that was made in that 35 to 40 minutes. Nothing happened with the murder conviction or with some of the other serious convictions like criminal mischief charges. So after that, and after that deal was made, testimony began in the sentencing of this trial. And this is for the jurors to hear from both the prosecution and the defense of why they should penalize her in this sentencing case, how severe it should be. So when the witnesses came forward, they gave the jurors a chance to hear from them. And one of the most powerful testimonies came from Dylan Getchy's father, Bob Getchy.
And we have to bury one. Arrangement. Take out a casket. Find the burial station. And then put my son his ground. That's something that his parents should never have to be. Our children should be. His grandparents and great-grandparents without a grandson, aunts and uncles without a nephew, his classmates without a friend.
Now, some of the other witnesses that came forward before Bobby Getty included some police officers and people with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office who told the jury about penalties, what they mean, what life means, what life without the possibility of parole means, and some of the other charges and some of the other sentences that they can give Angela Baumia, and so they can know what time she can serve and help them with that decision. Right now, I believe closing arguments are beginning. They took a short break just before we came down to do this broadcast, and then they said they were going to start closing arguments at about noon. So they should be beginning right about now. We will keep you posted with the latest information. Reporting live outside the Judicial Center, Ann Bowden, WLKY News.